Chances are you'll be too loud.
Oh. Well, I'll try to speak softly.
And carry a big stick. Welcome back to Can You Not? We actually have two noobs here today because Jessie is in Montreal and Amber is hanging out with her brother who is in town. So today I've enlisted Shelby.
Hi.
Shelby Poston. Is that how you say her last name?
Poston.
Poston.
It's cool.
I am so sorry. Anyway, she is, if you remember Brian from a while back, who joined us for the episode about, what was it, the Earth being
Flat.
Earth being flat? yeah, he's in the room too, so just ignore him. But that is actually his girlfriend.
I mean, the Earth is mostly flat. It's just also curved.
Yeah, we got into a whole big topic about. We actually had some flat earther people reply back and try to defend the concept of the flat Earth. But we also have a good friend of mine named Nick Corrado.
Hi.
I went to high school with Nick, and he is here with us today. He's helped me on a lot of my projects. In fact, he is actually probably one of my most frequent collaborators if you look at all the different things I've done.
Yeah, I've been there.
What I wanted to talk about is how we glorify dead people. I mean, I think it's particularly relevant because of how many famous people have passed away this year, unfortunately, including some of my favorites, David Bowie. But I just think it's really interesting that, I mean, it's to be expected, of course, that everyone remembers the good things after someone dies. But I feel like it still extends beyond even that initial first wave. You know, I feel like it's still like, years and years later, we still glorify these people. And maybe there gets to a point where there's like this whole kind of wave to overturn that and say, oh, this person was actually a crappy person. But I feel like it takes a long time, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, one way to look at how, like with the case of like Michael Jackson, like
that was the exact example that came to mind for me.
Too.
He was an icon in his time and it was absolutely like incredible at the top of his game, but he became essentially a tabloid joke over time, you know. Probably not so, you know, not deservedly necessarily, but he did, and that's what, you know, everyone made jokes about his skin complexion and made jokes about his surgeries and stuff, but then the day after he died, he became this icon again, and everyone remembered all the great stuff that he did, and I feel like we're still kind of riding that wave. I'm sure it will turn back and we'll say, oh, Michael Jackson was a terrible person, but for right now, we're still coasting on that, like, wow, he was a god kind of, you know, thing. So what are your thoughts on this whole glorification?
I'd say it's definitely a phenomenon that exists. I'm trying to think of some people who died this year, though, and I just can't think of any good examples right now.
Me neither.
Do you know what other ones caught your eye?
Let's see. Well, there was there was the lead guy from Earth, Wind, and Fire. There was Alan Rickman from the British actor who played Severus Snape.
Oh, right. I do remember that one.
There was a comedian who just passed away today. I can't remember his name. He was really good friends with Jerry Seinfeld, and his name's escaping me. He did the Larry Sanders Show. I don't know. Like I said before, David Bowie and the guy from the Eagles, the guitarist from the Eagles, which, again, it was one of those things, like, everyone always craps on the Eagles, and then the instant he died, everyone's like, oh, the Eagles are the best band, yay.
I agree with what you're saying, that we do kind of like raise them up as like gods and stuff like that. But I feel like people do it just to, I don't know, like remember, like you said, remember all the good they did, but just to kind of like celebrate their life and to like remember like what made them, what they brought to the world, I guess.
Yeah.
And so people, like, I guess, want to relish in that and remember that, because that person who did all these things, they're not there anymore, and so we won't have that spirit in that person here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we do it with people that we do know, too. We always start to think of their best qualities and stuff rather than their worst.
Right.
So I wonder if, because, you know, with a lot of celebrities, people actually feel that they have this personal connection with them, even if they really don't. it could be triggering the same sort of reaction in them, that they want to remember those good times rather than focus on the not so good stuff.
True. Now, is that necessarily a good thing? Is that a bad? Is that a?
It's probably not. It's probably not a good thing. And I was thinking, well, maybe is it a matter of closure? Like they just want closure on it now that he's died, or?
Yeah, I mean that might be part of it. I mean, like I think like when Robin Williams died and stuff like that, and how people just kind of remembered how much of their life was built up between like the movies that he did and stuff like that, and his stand-up and just his constant presence and things and stuff like that. So that makes a lot of sense. They're looking forward, like they're starting to realize how important that person actually was to their life, right?
Yeah, because death, it's sort of all the petty stuff doesn't matter anymore, right? If we held a stupid grudge against someone, well, they're dead now, then we don't care.
Right.
And then it's sort of the more important stuff can come back to the fore, but maybe we overemphasize it in the process. So
right.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to have a really good sense of balance in your head when you're emotional, right? So, the person just died, you're not thinking clearly.
How will you remember me when I die, Nick?
I won't be thinking clearly, I can tell you that.
I just assume that I'm gonna die first. I don't know why.
Well, it'll be some crazy Hollywood incident.
You're like, I remember when we did that podcast about dying.
First thing on my mind, for sure.
Shelby,
funny. Yeah.
how will you remember yourself when you die?
I'll be dead. So
Yeah?
I can't remember.
I mean, you
I'll
could
be
try.
See what happens.
Really?
Yeah, give it a shot.
I will try.
Now, like, when like we pass away, do we want people to only remember the good things about us? Isn't that kind of the goal of like how we kind of situate ourselves? We only show people the good sides of things, just like on social media. It's not our true us. It's the versions of ourselves that we like. The photos of us that make us look the best. The statuses that make us look like we're doing the most exciting things.
I mean, nobody really wants anybody to see them in a bad light, because you always want people to think of you positively. So, I mean, I don't want anybody to think of the bad times with me. I mean, who wants that? One thing that I don't like it when someone dies, like it'll be like always that person on social media who'll post and say like, I was just talking to this person last week and I can't believe they're dead and da 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 da. When in reality they haven't talked to that person in months or years. Like I definitely don't want people to be like that. Like, I really hate that, because it's like you're just putting on a show because you want people to sympathize with you, when in reality you haven't seen that person in so many years. You didn't know what was going on with them or anything. Like that happens a lot, and it really makes me angry.
Your neighbor from when you're 3 years old is like, yeah, we hung out all the time.
Exactly. We were on the playground. I remember when Shelby fell and scraped her knee, man. That was the worst day. What?
The Band-Aid was bright purple.
Right. Oh my God.
Such vividness.
Right. Meanwhile, I died at like 82, and I've had like 7 kids and 35 grandkids. Like, I know that's
She's been counting.
I remember when Grandma fell off the swing and we had to get her a purple Band-Aid.
Grandma always said purple was her favorite color.
She was very active for her age.
Now, what about people who actually were kind of jerks in real life? Is it bad that we then turned them into these kind of heroes when they were actually perhaps not too nice to the people in their lives who may have shown them much more kindness?
Well, I mean, to an extent, everyone does it. So where does the harm fall exactly? I mean, suppose that a great bully dies. I mean, are his victims just gonna be like, yeah, rah? I mean, they'll probably feel bad for the guy too. So we don't want to just whitewash all of that, but
yeah, and that's often a regular debate held, say, when someone who is universally hated, like think about like when Osama bin Laden was killed, like, do we celebrate the death of an evil person?
Yeah.
And now I personally do not think you should celebrate the death of anybody, but what do you think?
Well, remember, actually, a more controversial example, Margaret Thatcher, when she died.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was like, ding dong, the witch is dead, was what was going around.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people disagree with her policies. A lot of people said, they were just bad for Britain. But should we be saying things like that?
An even more recent example would also be another celebrity death this year, Antonin Scalia.
Oh,
Who
another,
was-
yeah.
Who is not very well liked by a lot of people who want change in the United States.
I do.
But should people have come out and celebrated the fact that he died?
Yeah, because I saw a lot of people on social media.
I saw some pretty mean things.
Yeah, they were really happy about it. I was like, oh my god. I mean, at the day, he was a human being, even though he wasn't the best person, he was a jerk or whatever. At the end of the day, he was a human being. He did have feelings. You do have to appeal to that at the same time.
Yeah, it was worth looking to. If you saw, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's farewell to him? They were good friends.
Which is bizarre, but very kind of.
Well, they
inspiring.
both loved opera, if you knew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was their big thing. They would go to opera together.
Oh, look
So
at
if I
us.
could surmise right there, then yeah. So I think that was good. I guess the only thing I would add to that before we switch to the next topic is that I don't think that's really good to help the image of othering people too, which I think is a really dangerous thing to do with anybody. You
don't want to put someone completely outside of our sort of realm of who's human or not.
Right.
So when we take these people and we are hateful and spiteful about maybe someone dying, what does that say to the supporters of that person? It just goes, okay, these other people, they actually are all jerks.
Exactly.
They actually are terrible. So we have all the reason to be jerks to them. So it's whenever we other people, I think, when it becomes very dangerous. When we talk about what Donald Trump does about the Muslims as a big group of people, or even to an extent, even though I like a lot of Bernie Sanders' policies, him just summing up everybody as the billionaire class is kind of an othering in a sense. It sums up a big group of people as all having some sort of malicious intent, I guess.
Right.
No, so what I was thinking about, because this came up in a class just this week, was weird pronunciations of things, dialect differences across America and everything. Of course, the really common example is soda versus pop.
What ever do you mean?
Yeah, see, Joe is from this very small town. Don't mind him. The Pittsburgh one actually is a really common one. Jeet Jet is a common one in Pittsburgh. Did you eat yet? Just get shortened there.
Oh, okay, just as a...
Yeah, what's the other one in Pittsburgh? Yins?
I'm not familiar with this.
Jeet Jet?
Jeet Jet? Oh my god.
Jeet Jet?
I've never
heard that. Can any Pittsburghians confirm?
Right.
I mean, my personal favorite one, courtesy of my own family, is Warsh.
Wash? Oh, instead of wash? Oh
Yep.
my god. My
And
family, they say that. My mom's side of the family, they say wash instead of wash.
My Nana says that. She's from Boston, so...
It extends to other things too, like George Washington.
Yeah,
He's never
yeah.
George Washington, George Washington.
Or Becker, instead of Becca was in our case. But she kind of
That's
slowly
funny.
lost a lot of her accent over time, but yeah, a lot of things like that, yeah.
That's funny.
Worse, the car.
Oh,
One
Boston,
thing-
yeah, the car.
One thing that just my mom's side of the family, because my dad's side of the family, they are in Cleveland, so. But,
So they don't have an accent, obviously.
Ohioans don't speak with an accent.
Yeah.
No, but they live in southern Ohio. They live in Steubenville, and they say words like the words with O. They say them weird. So we say mom, and they'll say mom. Mom, or they'll say monkey or something
Monkey.
yes, and it's kind of weird just because when I go down there and hear the difference, it's wow, you guys are only 2 hours away.
I was gonna
and you
say,
speak
that's not even that
different.
far.
Yeah, you guys say words completely different than we do. Even listening to them on Snapchat and stuff, it's hilarious.
Well, what's really interesting about being from the Cleveland area is that a lot of people doing voiceover and radio broadcasts and stuff like that will pull talent from Cleveland because we have such a standard English approach to a bland accent. Maybe we have some things we kind of borrow a lot of things about having really hard R's all the time.
Yeah.
But if you look at what is considered the ideal, like
The Queen's English kind of thing.
yeah, I guess
BBC standard English, maybe.
President's English.
Yeah.
Then I guess you would have the Cleveland area in a sense.
I have said before, I'm like, I don't speak with an accent. If you look up a pronunciation of a word, that's just how I say it.
Exactly.
All those other people have accents.
Yeah,
That's
they're
them.
the weird ones.
But but even there, even still, even if I say words the quote unquote right way, there's just those differences you can't get past, like the soda pop stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which maybe you could explain that for people who are completely unfamiliar with this concept. The soda thing.
Oh, right. So, so when we talk about, Coca-Cola or something, generally people call it pop, but it's common in certain areas to call it soda instead, or even soda pop.
And some people just call everything cola
Coke.
or everything Coke.
Everything Coke. That happens, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy. Like what if you go to a store or I don't know, a restaurant or whatever, and you say, and usually people are like, yeah, can I have a Sprite, at least here in Cleveland, and then somebody says, can I have a Coke? If someone said, can I have a Coke, I'd give them a Coke.
Yeah, that's
not like
yeah.
a Sprite.
But in another part of the country, it's like, can I have a Coke? Oh, which kind?
Right.
Oh, Sprite. That would be totally bizarre.
like Sprite.
Yeah,
and Coke.
I've gone into places and I've said, "Hey, can I have a Sprite?" And they pull out a woodland nymph, and I'm like, I didn't want this, but okay.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
So,
Are
there any other things that we can think of that are
like
very regional?
caramel and caramel,
Yeah, I say caramel.
That's
say
a common
caramel.
one.
or vanilla and vanilla.
When I
or some people say vanilla.
okay, when I was little,
Lightberry.
Lightberry was one I got when I was little.
Oh my gosh, one of my cousins, she says birthday instead of birthday.
Yeah.
Or
That drives me
bathroom
crazy.
instead of bathroom, and it kills me.
Oh, Lightberry was one I got when I was little.
Yeah.
Ethan, who's from Upper New York.
Yeah.
Help me out here. Buffalo.
Buffalo.
He says Lightberry as well. He says that's a Buffalo thing too.
Okay.
Really?
So yeah. My dad said sword, but I think that was just him.
Oh my god! No, my dad and his brothers, they said sword also. And I remember the first time he told me that, I was like, what? Sword? That's really what you guys said? He said yes, because he's never done that in front of me before. And I don't know, I think my aunt was over and they were talking about, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I was just like, sword? Where is this coming from?
Yep, he swore to God it's sword.
One thing Bryce and I have talked about, my girlfriend Bryce, who's also been on the podcast, is African American. We've talked about how a lot of black people say auntie and aunt. Mm-hmm. Whereas Caucasian people say
aunt and auntie. Oh God, I hate that. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. I understand it's spelled like A-N-T, like ant, like the insect, but I can't.
But really,
say
I think it
ant.
really technically should be aunt, and that's
Aunt.
and if you think about it, that seems more European to say it like that, and that's where, of course, the English language stems from. So it's kind of interesting that. I don't know.
But the African American vernacular English would say it that way.
Yeah,
I don't say.
But now,
aunt.
I kind of have.
that makes my ears hurt.
I feel like I've slowly been saying aunt more, or at least somewhat more like that, because now that
Bryce is having an influence.
I think
on
it might be Bryce's influence,
Yeah.
and it might just be the fact that now that I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, aunt does sound better than aunt.
Oh God.
Yeah,
hate
that's
that.
another kind of Ohio thing. I think is that pants.
Yeah. Pants.
That nasally sort of
Oh yeah.
faint.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah.
the Quentin
definitely.
Tarantino accent.
No. Yeah. I definitely. What's something else? Let's think.
I just had one.
Yeah, I know. I always lose them. There are some parts of the country that always call all shoes sneakers.
Really?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm wearing sneakers, but just
I'm
even
wearing-
dress shoes would be sneakers. Oh, what kind of sneakers?
Really? Oh wow.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that my family said that.
Oh, here's one from I always said crayon, but apparently it's supposed to be crayon.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No.
I have a story, but go ahead.
I was gonna say I've always had the opposite. I've always said crayon, And someone just told me that it's crayon. I think
It's
it might have been
crayon.
Bryce. I think it was
It's
Bryce told me it's
crayon.
crayon.
It
And like,
is.
and then you look at it, it's like, yeah, there is an O there.
There's a whole bunch of letters in there.
Oh my God. So my story, my nephew, I think he said he was in like kindergarten. I think he was in kindergarten. And of course, you know, in kindergarten, you guys color pictures. So,
I didn't.
oh my God.
No, I'm just
you
kidding.
were
I did.
deprived.
Joe wasn't in kindergarten. That's why.
But so my nephew and one of his friends, they were coloring a picture, and he had the crayons, and she asked him for a red crayon, and he said, "What?" She said, "Can I have a red crayon?" And he said, "I don't know what a crayon is, but I know what a crayon is, and if you want the red crayon, then you need to say, I want the red crayon."
Wow.
Yes, and he's in like kindergarten saying this to this little girl.
Oh my God.
And she, for some reason, just couldn't get it, and he never gave it to her. And I just thought that story was hilarious. Oh my God. Like, he was so angry. He was like, if you do not pronounce this word right, I'm not giving you this crayon.
Oh my God.
It's hilarious.
I know sometimes it's probably not. I mean, it's not in a mean way, but sometimes we tease my mom because she'll say Japanese.
What?
Japanese?
And we'll go,
That
oh, the
happens.
Japanese, and she'll be like, oh, you know what I mean, like.
Japanese. That's hilarious. Oh my God. We used to tease my mom about like certain words like quesadilla, because she didn't know how to say it at first, I guess. And so we were in a restaurant, and she was like, I want the quesadilla. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, Mommy. I
Terrible guess.
I can't believe. But I just thought like that was a word that we, at least
Yeah, I
us
feel like a
three,
lot of
we
people
knew.
just know that word.
And she said quesadilla. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So then we corrected her, and luckily the waiter didn't laugh. But I was so embarrassed. Yeah.
We have 5 seconds.
So about that one.
Oh my God, have you ever heard
Anyone
someone
says
say
taco?
taco? I have.
I haven't heard that.
I have.
I once dated a girl in high school who never had a taco before.
Really?
Yeah, and we had taco night at our place, and she was like,
These
I've
are-
never had one. I don't know if I even like it.
Oh wow. My topic is a little depressing.
Uh-oh.
All right, so I'm just going to read the title.
Okay.
Mass shooting in Athens, Ohio, prevented by law-abiding gun store owner.
Wait, Athens?
Yes.
When did this happen?
Actually, a few days ago. Actually,
Oh,
no.
wow.
Yeah, a few days ago. A couple days ago.
I did not hear about this.
Yes. Actually, my friend goes to Ohio University, my best friend. And she said that she didn't find out about the shooting or the shooter trying to shoot up the school until an article was put out.
Oh, man.
So nobody in the school knew that this man was going to come and shoot up the school.
Wow.
See, they should really put out a warning about something like that.
That's exactly what my topic was going to be about. So I'm going to tell you guys the story, and then I want, what do you guys think?
Some reaction.
Yeah. So basically what happened was there's this guy, and I believe he goes to Ohio University, and he went to this gun store, I guess around there, and was trying to purchase a gun. And the gun store owner kind of felt that something was off. He could kind of see that the guy might have been mentally ill or something. Mm-hmm. And so he refused to sell the guy the gun. And so the guy was all angry and started threatening him and all this stuff. And he ended up kicking him out of the store. And the guy, I guess, ended up going to this Walmart around there, and he was getting some gear to get ready for the shooting.
Oh boy.
And meanwhile, while this was happening, the gun store owner, I guess he said he locked his doors and was making sure that the guy wouldn't come back in, and he called the police, and he told the police. So the police end up finding him at Walmart. I guess the gun store owner had the plates of his car. So they end up finding him at Walmart, and he's in jail now, which is great. But
did he hurt anybody, Tom?
no.
Oh, okay.
But obviously it's great that the guy got caught and whatever, but the issue was that nobody was notified at the school. So none of the students knew. Like, I think one faculty member was threatened by the guy earlier that day, but I guess that person didn't tell anyone about it. Oh, wow. So, like, nobody knew. Like I said, my friend didn't find out about it until this article was published, and she saw it on Facebook. So she had no idea. Like, her roommate, like she said, nobody in her dorm, nobody she knew about it. So I was wondering, like, what do you guys think about that? Like, how do you feel would be...
Well, the part that really surprises me, actually, is that if the guy was really obviously mentally ill, why didn't he have more protections on him from being able to buy guns anyway? Like, were there actually no restrictions on him at the time? Or had he already gotten everything cleared somehow?
I have no idea.
Walmart stopped selling gun stuff, if I remember correctly, too? Or?
I don't know. I mean, they said he went to Walmart to get ammunition. He went to go get some camouflage gear. He got, I think he got ropes or something. Like, I don't know. They didn't really go into detail about it. Yeah. But, they said he went to Walmart to get some gear for it, and then he tried to go back. I guess he was on his way going back to wherever he was going, and the police caught him. But, I really don't.
I will say, a couple weeks ago, in an episode, we talked about how a lot of times politicians and people have been scapegoating the mentally ill in regards to a lot of these shootings and stuff like that, and how, they're being used solely as an excuse when it's really an overall culture that is to blame, in a sense, and the individual actions of people, And so I don't want to necessarily be quick to lay it necessarily on the fact that he was mentally ill, but again, why can we get guns so easily? It always comes back to this. Like,
exactly. I don't know. In the article, they didn't state he was mentally ill. The store owner just kind of had suspicion about it.
I mean, but if the store owner went to great lengths, clearly, like he said no to the guy, and then he got his plates clearly before the guy had a chance to leave.
True.
Right.
And then called the police on him. So he must have been really suspicious.
Yeah.
It's hard to wean out the people who are responsible with guns and people who aren't. And you look at that, did you hear that whole thing about that gun activist who she was with her kid, and the kid grabbed their gun and, like, shot her in the face or something?
I had no idea.
Like, apparently she didn't get too much damage out of the situation, but it was, like, in the middle of, I don't know. I don't remember the specifics. I just remember, like, she's going to court over it because of, like, the whole situation. Which is kind of ironic, the fact that she's like, oh, guns are fine, everyone should have a gun, and she's the one who got shot by her own kid by accident.
Yeah, I heard a story about a man who, I don't know if he was a gun activist or whatever, but he had guns in the house. And he was just kind of like, guns were just around. Yeah. And he had a 4-year-old son who ended up shooting him in, I believe, the back, and he ended up dying. Oof. So, yeah, that was just kind of crazy to me because, like, I feel like, I understand, like, obviously everybody has the right to have a gun if you papers check out.
And there's no way you're going to do anything legally to say that people don't have the right to bear it. That's just not going to happen. That would be mass chaos. This is going to be...
Exactly. So, like, but I feel like the fact that, like, the 4-year-old boy had some sort of access to it, like, that's ridiculous to me. Like, I can't remember if he, like, went out hunting or whatever and then, like, left it on the counter. Like, I don't remember exactly how the 4-year-old got it, but yeah, he got it and he was playing with it and he shot him in the back.
Well, when you glorify guns, like, why would the kid be afraid of the gun? Yeah. If you're always talking about it and you always talk about how great a gun is and stuff, and you always see, like, people using it on TV in a super heroic way, like, well, if the kid's gonna see the gun, what is he gonna think? He's gonna think it's a dangerous weapon, or he's gonna think, hey, that looks pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, see, I never had guns around as a kid or anything, not in the home or anything.
Me neither.
When I encountered them at, like, Boy Scouts, for instance, they were handled in a very serious manner. Yeah. Like, I had, my impression of them was not at all that they were some... that you can be loose at all with them. It really surprises me to hear stories of parents just leaving guns around.
Yeah.
Like, if people are going to be that irresponsible with them, then they shouldn't have guns. I mean,
Exactly.
The most high-powered gun we had was essentially a souped-up BB gun that my dad would use in case something got into our garden or something like that.
Like a bear or something.
Yes, a bear comes rampaging through our rural Ohio gardens. And then one time we had to shoot we caught a raccoon who seemed to have rabies, and so stuff like that. And even then, it was always like, it wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get him. It was always like, okay, we have to shoot an animal. That's really kind of sucks, but we gotta do what we gotta do in this case, you know. And that's why, like, people say we should get rid of all guns. I mean, like, I think about people who own like farms and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important part of the culture, so we shouldn't be trying to impose our guns are so silly and barbaric kind of values on it. That would be ridiculous.
But we need to do something about it.
Yeah, because I mean, if that culture is promoting it irresponsibly, then it is problematic. It just, you know, where to draw the line there? What could be going wrong there? I mean, I think it's clear enough that most of the time things don't go wrong, but on the other hand, we do hear practically daily about something going wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And, you know, they always try to give the argument about, well, the only thing that stops a bad guy with the gun is a good guy with the gun. But, like, I see a lot of situations where I don't think that would work.
Well, I mean,
like, you look at, like, the terrorist attacks in Paris and stuff, where they shot up that theater where the Eagles of Death Metal were playing. Like, if one person just, like, let out, you know, the terrorist whatever shot, then everyone would have their guns out and everyone would be accidentally killing each other because the chaos that would ensue from a situation like that would be so. And what kind of, I think I've mentioned these points before, so I can't remember, so I'm sorry, audience, if I've mentioned this before, but what kind of culture are you building when you create this culture that everyone must be protected at all times, to this point where it feels like you're just in a constant standoff between society at all times? What kind of fear-mongering does that present when you're just constantly creating this culture of fear?
Well, right, and that's something that's generally undue anyway. I mean, when you look at how much damage terrorists actually cause, we're doing a lot more damage to ourselves by hyping up.
No, I definitely agree with that.
The fear about them. I mean, I know, and I mean saying that, you know, knowing full well that there was just an attack in Belgium.
Yeah.
You know, even in spite of that, it's the threats to us are far greater from what we do in response.
Well, especially since they always say people who watch and read the news like diligently often will think the world is a much scarier place. Like, by far, like an extreme number.
That was a quick 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was a quicker 10 minutes. Yeah. So, like, we create a fear culture through the news because we only talk about the bad things. We never talk about the good things. Not to say that we shouldn't talk about the bad things, but I think we should give equal opportunity to both. But, yeah. Anyway, so at the end here, we typically sum up what each of us learned from the topic that they presented. So, like, oh gosh, what was my topic already? It feels so long ago. Oh yeah, I learned it's not necessarily a bad thing that we pump up these people, because oftentimes we want to remember the good things about them. That doesn't mean we should be blind to their flaws, but you know, it happens and it's gonna keep happening. So I don't think it's necessarily a problem.
Yeah. I learned that some of the weird ones from my childhood, those weird pronunciations, are actually a lot more common than I thought. So thank you for that, Shelby.
You're welcome. I think that I learned that.
Nick and I like crayons.
Yeah, you guys like crayons. No, I think I learned that even though we have the right to have guns and we feel like they protect us, I feel like they might not be the best things to be used for our protection. Because like you guys are saying, especially Nick, like you said, like we do more damage to ourselves than other outside forces have done. So
And if you listeners, I always do that because I do YouTube stuff, so I'm used to saying viewers. If you listeners would like to suggest a topic, if you want to go to PogieJoe, PogieJoe.com /can you not, you can suggest a topic there, or you can leave us a comment on our SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com/CYN podcast, or you can follow us on iTunes. Look at all these. Isn't this great? And then you just want to follow us on every platform.
Which you should totally do.
Definitely do it.
And
I'm pointing my finger.
I guess too, if you want to submit any of your weird pronunciation things too,
That would be cool.
Definitely let us know about that, and we'll talk about them in the next episode. But yeah, and then we usually end by saying, "Can you not?"
Can you not?